All right. Hello, guys. What's up? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Do Work Podcast. Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, entrepreneurship, free thinking. And I told you, 2024 for me, I'm heavy on the free thinking because shit is just weird. I don't understand a lot of things right now. Things are weird and things are not going in a good direction. And truth is being silenced and it's bothering me. It's bothering me. It's bothering me. So I'm gonna talk about it. So I know I got slack for my last episode about trans athletes in sports, but I said what I said, and I still stand on that. They don't need to be in women's sports. All right. Tonight, my guest. So this dude, I'm gonna just bring him on. So my man, Alan Roberts, is coming on tonight. Now the cool thing about him is, fuck it, I'm just bringing him on. I ain't gonna even do it like that. We just gonna bring my guy on. Yo,
what's going on,
dude?
How are you?
I'm great, bro. Like low key, I'm a fan, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the truth. Let me say that. I'm a fan.
It's so weird. It's weird hearing people say that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because you probably get it too. Like, you're just a person. You know what I mean? Like, and other people's like, I'm a fan of yours. I'm like, I just get online and talk shit. You know what I mean? I basically just like, I give my opinions, and it's funny because like people are like, who are you to give your opinion? I'm like, just as much as you are. I'm a person, and I just think the funnest part about all this crazy shit we're going through right now is like about to happen. I really feel that. Can you feel like a little bit like the energy is changing a little bit?
Bro, it's scary. Like the weirdness scale. Like it's scary, my God. And so,
well, when do you think it started getting weird? Like really weird. Like I'm not talking like L.A. weird. I'm talking like really weird. What year did you start thinking it was?
Coming out of 20, leading up to the pandemic, I feel like things were changing. Like things were just getting weird, and I was like, "What's this? What's that?" And then the pandemic happened, and cats got hella weird.
Yeah.
Like I'll be the first to tell you, like I'm gay, I'm moderately conservative. Clearly, I'm black. That's always a fun mix. But
yeah,
like I just noticed like things were being weaponized, and all of a sudden everything was okay. And there was a point where we couldn't all of a sudden you couldn't say shit. Everything was
that was very weird. Like the all of a sudden immediate in lockstep censorship. That's why when people try to pretend like this wasn't like planned out ahead of time, the censorship at the very beginning was in lockstep. It was crazy. Like the keywords. There's he's the most cited living scientist in the world for public health. His name's Dr. John Ioannidis, right? And at the very beginning, he works for Stanford, I believe. But he's the leading expert on public health, viral outbreak, viral spread, everything like that, right? And he basically writes this paper. It's on the World Health Organization website right now. At the very beginning of the pandemic, it's like April, right? And it shows how it's a cold. It's not that deadly. Like, because he not only counted the people that we were testing that were positive, but he counted the people that had antibodies too. So because that's the actual real denominator of this, death equation.
Right.
So he does this, and I had a whole channel taken on YouTube because I played his video. They just took the channel, and I'm like, holy shit, he's the most cited living scientist in the world in this subject, and they were deleting people for having him on. I was like, this shit's crazy.
It's scary. We are living 1984.
Oh yeah, when did you realize that the whole pandemic was kind of bullshit? Like, when did you realize it? Like, when were you like, oh, they don't even care about it, how it appears?
Oh yeah. Once, I'm gonna be honest, it took me like a month. I'm not gonna even bullshit you. I owned a gym at the time. It took me a month, and I kept saying to myself, I was like, We can't stop viruses. We've never been able to stop viruses. This doesn't make sense.
Right.
So we're going to shut down the country?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to shut down the country, and everybody I was just shocked at the compliance level. It was freaky.
Yeah.
It's like everybody was like, you got to stay home, stay in your house, you got to wear a mask. If you don't, like, it was like martial law, essentially.
Yeah. It was the big thing for me, like, and I point this out to a lot of people. Here's how I knew it was all BS, right? So before I did all this stuff, I was a healthcare executive, and I know people like don't necessarily catch on to that because of how I look. But for like a dozen years, I helped run the nutritional departments for hospitals, skilled nursings, assisted livings, CCRCs. Basically with a focus on elderly people. But I ran nutrition for healthcare for a long time, right? So when you start like looking at a few things for like drills we run to make sure that you're putting your mask on correctly, because there's a whole procedure for that shit. There's a whole procedure on how to don and doff a mask. Not one PSA, like not one public service announcement from anybody at all, at all, when they were saying it. Like, and I was just like, that's crazy. But then like when they talked about sending college kids home, like it's so bad that we have to close the world, but first we got to send college kids home. That is the stupidest thing of stupidest things I've ever heard, because like now you're taking college kids who've been crawling all over each other for like 6 months, right? They just went to spring break to other different places to crawl all over other people, right?
Yes.
And then they came back, and then they crawled all over each other again. And then now we're going to send them home to their middle-aged parents and elderly grandparents. That's made no sense. Like we would have, like actual procedure, if they would have gone by public health procedure at the time, they would have they were already safe, not in danger. They would have sheltered them in place. Right?
Yeah.
Instead of it's a dispersal method to get it all across the country. And I was just like, they're doing everything you shouldn't do. Like telling people that the whole face mask thing, telling people to touch your face a bunch more often during like upper respiratory season is just stupid. Like it's dumb.
It didn't make sense. And I felt like it was one of those things where, because again, we're living in 1984, right? So
we really are.
It's scary. And yo, if it's some young cats on here, if y'all have never read 1984, go read it. It's gonna freak you out because we're in it. We're in it already. We're in it.
I think that's super strange how well this has all been predicted and shit like that. That's all amazing to me. Yeah. To a T. And it's been in multiple different scenarios. Like one, they actually did plan this out. Like I mean, like they ran a drill, But on so many other things, like how it just mimics history. Like right now, we're in like 1984 is very appropriate, but we're also in like this weird amalgamation of like Idiocracy, Demolition Man, because all the tunnels and shit like that. Like I mean, it's just this weird thing like Wall-E, because like we've got so many fat people we're about to explode. Like it's this weird amalgamation of these movies that are all pretty tragic for our species,
Dude, so let's get into it. So the thing that drew me to you, I'm a fitness person. I've been in the industry 25 years now.
Yeah.
The thing that drew me to you was I love how you spoke out about obesity. Because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, I'm 400 pounds, I'm 500 pounds, and like, you got to love me for who I am. And I'm like, okay, I love you, but this shit ain't healthy. Like, you got to lose weight. And then if you say something to people, you're fat phobic.
Yeah. It started like years ago, though. Like I've been doing this for years, like about 6 years now. I've been talking about these people. Because it's super dangerous. Like I used to make fitness roast videos like on V-Shreds and people like that. Don't get me wrong, I love doing comedy. I love doing that shit, right? But I try to be entertaining and everything like that for my crowd. But like this is a real serious topic. Like telling a population of people who, let's be real, it's America. We're not the brightest. We're just not. Like we're not the fucking smartest people. you know, and you take a country full of really fucking stupid people who are hooked on convenience and feed them ultra highly palatable food products. They're not even food, designed to hit the bliss point to make them want more and more and more. And then instead of like holding them societally responsible for gaining weight, because it does, you'll put society, it does impose society. Yeah, it's a huge burden on us. Like, it's a huge burden on society. So, but instead of us saying, hey, maybe you should, you know, reverse this, maybe we should do something about it. Instead, now we are literally just telling them it's okay. To tell people that those types of negative things are okay, it leads me to believe that our public health officials want us sick and fat and weak.
They do.
Absolutely. Because if we wanted to save the most amount of money for like off our budget, we would encourage everybody to get healthy. Like, 1.9 trillion dollars a year in federal tax money is used for healthcare. 1.9 trillion. About 90% of that is lifestyle related. People eat too much, drink too much, smoke too much. They smoke or eat themselves into chronic or mental illness, right? Chronic and or mental illness, because they normally go hand in hand. But we just are at a stage where we're almost applauding this shit, and it hurts the people that we're applauding tremendously, as well as people that follow these people. And it's not. I think Lizzo's a shitty person because of other reasons besides how she is about the fat shit. She's a horrible fucking human being, and I've said that for years. I said that for years before, like all this shit. All the stuff that recently came out. Yeah, because she's just like, she's disingenuous as fuck. Like, and I live my life online like this. Like, I talk live, you know, for about an hour and a half a day every day. I do Q&A every day. This is for people in your audience. This is not a character. It's unfortunately me sometimes. Sometimes I wish it could even be a little different. But the thing about it is, I like people being genuine. And if you're not going to be genuine with other people about like, hey, this is bad for you, like, you're a shitty person. I get told I'm mean all the time, and I just can't imagine anything meaner than telling a 400-pound person they're fine just the way they are. Like, it's evil. It's fucking evil. Like, first of all, I've been fat, right? I know you're lying to me if you tell me you think I'm okay. Like as a fat person, I know if you tell me I'm okay, I know that you're lying, and you know that I know that you're lying. You know, like, it's just this weird societal thing does. Society's gotten so, I don't know how old you are, but I'm obviously Generation X.
Yeah, I'm 45.
Yeah, so you didn't grow up in this pussy ass generation where like people could actually say shit. I know that people don't like to hear this, but we really need to bring back fat shaming. Like, we really really do. Because it's really hurting society not having it. Like, and I don't even mean like pointing at somebody until they cry and shit like that. I'm talking like, you're fat, lose fucking weight. Like, it needs to start getting said all the time. Like,
well, you can't, even as a fitness person now, like, you can't. Well, I do. Like, I do. Yeah. I mean, I don't even train like super obese people like you do. Like, I love that you specialize, and that's the other thing about you. When I see sometimes people come in like, "Oh, you're mean," I'm like, "Yo, my man trains morbidly obese people and gets them to lose weight because the shit ain't healthy, and it's a cop out. This whole accept me as I am, and this is who I am, and if you don't love me, you're fat phobic. No, you're gonna die. You're gonna die of a heart attack." Amongst other issues.
Yeah.
So it's not on us all of a sudden. We can't talk about it. So if an obese person comes into my gym, like, I'm not allowed to say to them, like, you need to really lose weight. If they come in and say they just want to monitor their health or some bullshit excuse. If I love them. Yeah. Bro, I can tell you stories about
so funny.
Dude, they come in with everything like, I'm just working on stamina, or I'm just doing this. Is like, nah, dude, you need to lose some fucking weight. Like, you need to do this. Yeah. And they don't want to. And doctors can't even weigh these cats no more.
Which is
so tell me,
people don't realize these numbers a lot. Okay, this is what I do. Like I talk. I mean, I'm a best-selling weight loss author. I talk about obesity, and I think my stance on it is a little different because I look at obesity as the societal burden that it is. Like it's a danger. Like it's a national security threat. We'll get into all this here in a second, but the statistics that go to this is we spend in the United States about $4.3 trillion a year in healthcare for chronic mental illness, accidents, everything, total, the whole nine, right? Pharma, everything. And about 90% of that is from chronic and mental illness, lifestyle-driven chronic and mental illness. And about 80% of that is avoidable or reversible. So if you do the math, that works out to right at $3 trillion a year that we as a society spend on healthcare.
That's crazy.
If you're going to go to the fucking doctor and you're going to not let them weigh you when you are fat as fuck, skinny as fuck, in shape, I don't give a fuck what you fucking look like. If you are not going to let them weigh you, don't waste our fucking resources and go to the goddamn doctor. I swear, like,
exactly.
If you can't take being told how much you weigh, you got some self-evaluation to do, and we shouldn't be coddling it. Like that's the thing. I got in big trouble again recently, but I proposed that for insurance, like if say tomorrow I develop type 2 diabetes, right. My insurance would give me 90 days to try to correct it. Like if I was 400 pounds and I developed type 2 diabetes today, they'd give me 90 days to try to correct it while I'm on insurance, right? And then after that, anything to treat type 2 diabetes comes 100% out of my pocket. Because I'm not people don't like hearing this, but there's no incentive to get healthy anymore. There's no incentive to they've got all these people fooled into thinking that type 2 diabetes isn't this world killer, basically. It's horrible. What it does to people is just awful. Like it can kill you in so many ways and it steals your life in so many ways. And people have just gotten so normalized to people having type 2 diabetes. Fucking children having type 2 diabetes. What are we doing as a society? You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, people. You know what we're doing? We are coddling this type of behavior. We're saying, oh no, it's okay. Hey, just because she's fat doesn't mean that she doesn't try to lose weight. Yeah, it actually fucking does, motherfucker. If you remain 500 pounds, you're not trying to lose weight. That's for fucking sure. Somebody said, did I say 3 trillion? Yes, $3 trillion in the comment. Yeah. It's $3 trillion a year on avoidable, lifestyle-driven chronic and mental illness. Avoidable. That we all participate in.
So that's the thing, right? Like you said, we coddle it now, which is
it's horrible.
It's mind-blowing to me. Like, when we were growing up, it was nothing for your mom to be like, yo, you think you eating a little much there?
Yep.
So now to be at a space where it's like, I'm 400 pounds. Accept me for who I am. If you don't accept me, you're fat phobic. That's not a phobia.
It's not.
That's the other thing. Like, if I don't agree with you because you're obese and you want to glutton yourself, sometimes I'm on your page, bro, and some of the videos you repost, I'm utterly disgusted. I'm like, how are you going to sit there and glutton yourself and, this is who I am and you got to accept me? But social media perpetuates that. It's okay. It's okay. This is cool. I'm a fat influencer. No, you need to lose some weight.
The fat influencer shit I just love.
There are people with legit issues. And when I say this, sometimes people get offended and people, try to come at you all the time. I ain't talking about curvy girls. I'm going to say this right now. Yeah. I ain't talking about curvy girls. I ain't talking about girls with fat asses. I'm not talking about that. Yeah. I'm talking about people who 300, 400, 500 pounds and trying to justify it and say that's who they are and they can't do better. Right. That's the cop-out. That's what we're talking about. That's the cop-out.
And society's just taking it too far. I mean, way too far. Don't get me wrong. Here's my thing. The abuse, basically, like that of our generation growing up. Like I've never been the right size for my little Italian mother. Like I've always been too fat, too big, too broad, too skinny. Like it's never like I'm never just right, you know, because she's an old Italian lady and that's what old Italian ladies do. But the ridiculous nature about how we've gotten so accustomed to people so large. I point this out all the time. People get really upset by this. Tess Holliday, who is seen as like one of the queens of body positivity, like she founded the movement or whatever. She's bigger than the largest circus fat woman from 80 years ago.
That's insane. That's insane.
So she has been on the cover of Cosmopolitan. They called this woman a model for a while, right? She's bigger than the largest circus fat woman from 80 years ago. You know, when people say it's genetic, do you realize, I mean, people don't like when I point out how stupid some of these arguments are, because I really just like, it's mind-boggling, right? But when people say I'm fat because it's genetic, first of all, if that is true, that screams, don't have sex with me. You will very likely, if we have offspring, they will be fat too. Yeah. And we are genetically hardwired to seek out healthy mates to have healthy children, right? Absolutely. So that is an advertisement not to fuck fat people. When you say being fat is genetic, it is literally an advertisement to not in fact have sex with fat people. So that's one, how stupid that shit is. Secondly, where were all these fat people 50 fucking years ago? I graduated high school with 500 people. There was like 2 fat people. One was a girl who very likely had, like, back then it wasn't diagnosed, but you could clearly tell she had some hormonal issues going on, right? Yeah, and right. another kid that had some abuse going on at home. You know what I mean? Like, those were the 2 fat kids. I'm not talking about the football players who had a few extra pounds on them, because football players weren't as big as they are now. But now, I mean, shit, if you look at a high school graduating class, it's like 50% of these people can't even fit through the normal doorways. You know, they all got PE vouchers, so they didn't have to take PE. Like, you look at these kids, like, they're not running no fucking where, you know?
It's so different. Like, they can opt out of that. They can opt out of PE now. They can opt out of that. They don't, like, I don't know, there was a video circulating a while ago about how in the 1950s and 60s, like PE class, I mean, clearly we were building military age men and women, but goddamn. Yeah. People were in shape. And like you said, even when I was in high school, we didn't have a bunch of like obese people. We had like 1 or 2. But most people were, most part, healthy, able to move. But the entitlement with it now is the thing that I think bothers me the most. Like when I see these people like, well, we need bigger airplane seats to accommodate people who wear 400 pounds. No, we don't. Yeah. Because planes run by weight. So if we give you more room, who's paying for it? Because you're not.
Yeah. Everybody is. They'll just raise the prices. Everybody is. I take it, again, I look at these arguments, I take a different approach. Have we seen the safety data on like plane evacuations and anything like that with the seat ratings for people that with people that big? Like, I don't think we've seen that. I bet you they haven't tested that. Like, so if we have to like recently in Japan, I don't know if you saw this, but recently in Japan, 2 planes collided on the runway. They were both down on the runway and they collided. And they burst into flames, right? And they evacuated that one. Nobody got hurt on the plane that was gone in like a minute. They evacuated that motherfucker in 30 seconds, right? If you think we have a 350-pound person in a row in front of you, do we think that we're going to be able to get off this plane if it goes up in under a minute? You know, I bet you money they haven't tested for this. It is a danger to have people that size on commercial airliners. If you get so big that you don't fit into a seat, I bet you they don't have any. I haven't even seen safety data on the seatbelt extenders, because I don't like. Are they actually rated to hold that shit? Right. So, is this even actually been tested? Like, has the FAA like actually tested any of this stuff out? I don't think so. I really don't. But yet we're just going to start giving them second seats. That's privilege. That people say it all the time, like there's thin privilege. No, there is obese privilege. You got to work at staying thin. You got to work at staying thin. There's obese privilege. The fucking world gets handed to you, including like us forking out more money for healthcare and shit. It's crazy.
They don't want to work though. Alan, they don't want to work. They don't want to work. Like,
Here's the thing though.
They don't want to work. They don't want to work out. They don't want to go through the process. They want everything handed to them. And then, they wake up to 300, 400, 500 pounds, and then they're mad at you. They're mad at me because we're not accommodating their delusions.
I got to say, it's the majority of people that have extra weight on them, I do think really just they want to lose weight. I really do. The very vocal crowd that we're talking about, they're not nearly the majority, but what I do find crazy is how much these people are pushed by mainstream media too.
Yes.
Like, it's a very weird thing. This is another reason how I can tell you they want you sickly and fat, because there's people that like J-Bay official girl, the girl that started the petition about getting extra seats on the airline, right?
Yes.
She only has any type of social media presence on TikTok. That's it. That's the only place she really kind of exists. But yet she makes the news all the time. Like they write news articles about her all the time. And I just find it to be like kind of strange, like that they push this. Same thing like Lizzo. Lizzo's not that popular any place else besides TikTok. I think she sells out shows and stuff like that. But her social media, again, TikTok, Tess Holiday, only presence TikTok. Like, so if TikTok went offline, the fat acceptance community would damn near disappear. It would damn near disappear because they're not even that strong on Instagram anymore.
No, not.
They're really not.
On TikTok when I see it. Yeah. It's only on TikTok when I see it. I don't ever see that on Instagram. But TikTok is weird anyway. It's so much agenda. It's so much propaganda over there, man. So much agenda. It's crazy.
I used to post on TikTok all the time. I had I went through 8 accounts. They would all get up to 100,000 subscribers really quick, and then they'd delete me because I'm talking the way I talk. Because that's a huge thing. Even sometimes I get it because I just I say shit, and I just post it. So it's I get it sometimes. Sometimes I can see where the social media apps maybe not this motherfucker today, But I just watch now. I collect videos from there, and I learn a lot of shit from there too. They have a lot of neat stuff about hunting, homesteading, stuff like that too. I find fairly interesting. What'd you say?
Dude, I'm laughing because I just kind of go over. They have neat stuff about hunting. I love that. That's their takeaway. They have neat stuff about hunting. Yo, bro, I'm in awe. I'm just in awe. I actually shared your page with a bunch of my clients. Yo, you gotta see this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, man.
Where do you think it's gonna? Where do you think it's gonna go? Because here's my thing. Everybody's really fat. The country's really fat. Really, really fat, right? So what do we do next? Because
you want conspiracy theory, or you want my theory?
Well, here I'm going to give you I'll give you my conspiracy theory forward about it first, okay?
Right.
First of all, they're going to do their very best. They're going to get everybody trying to lose weight on Ozempic. They'll lose a little bit of weight and they'll just kind of pause there, because that's what Ozempic does. However, even for those people that can't get past that, here in about another 5 to 10 years, the wave of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and other chronic illnesses is going to be fucking biblical. That's where I see it happening. I think that not unless a radical change happens, we're over the tipping point, way over. We've got 25-year-olds that have been 300 pounds most of their life. It's the longer duration you spend obese, the worse it is for you. A person that's 25 years old and has been morbidly obese for 20 of those years. It's my humor, but I call them young old people, because it's true, because they're very old for their physical condition, they're elderly, if you're 30 years old and you have weighed 400 pounds your entire life and you're not trying to change,
Yeah.
You're old. You're gonna live 10 more years. It's gonna be miserable. You're gonna fucking hate it. You might not make it out of it with all your toes and shit like that. Like and these are just real things, right? And it's it's just gonna like get like people don't understand how far over the tipping point we are. We cannot have people this fat. We cannot have children that have type 2 diabetes. Like we cannot have little children that have type 2 diabetes. That is societal abuse. We used to live in a culture that protected the elderly and the young. You know what I mean? And the young, we basically wasted a bunch of elderly people at the very beginning of the pandemic by literally sending like people infectious with a cold into their place, but we didn't protect children at all, and we're just not right now. Like sugar is marketed to children. Look at the obesity rates in kids. These kids are going to be worse off than what we see now. I cannot believe the number of 300 plus pound women in their fucking 20s and up right now. It's
a lot.
Crazy.
It's a lot.
It's crazy.
And like you said, I love that. We were talking about just bring bullying back, man.
Oh, yeah, need to.
There were certain things you just didn't do. You was like, I don't want them fucking with me. I don't want them talking shit on me.
Well, this whole thing, like the whole fat shaming thing and fat phobia bullshit. So, fat shaming, like we're saying, like if I say to somebody, hey, you're 500 pounds, you should lose weight, and they're saying that's, I'm shaming him, right?
Right.
Even though it's a completely valid statement that he should be fucking ashamed of.
Yes.
Like, he's 500 pounds. He should be ashamed of being 500 pounds. If he is not ashamed of being 500 pounds, there is literally no catalyst for him to not want to be 500 pounds. There's no way this person who is obviously has a very serious eating disorder. That's why nobody that's 500 pounds does not have an eating disorder. Let's wake up to that shit too. Like, so this person is 500 pounds. If they're not ashamed about being 500 pounds, why would they change? They won't change. And that's the problem. Like, well, we don't want to shame anybody. Yeah, we do. We want, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's once the term shaming got to even mentioning the person's weight, all bets are off. I'm not even watching it no more. Like, I don't even try to watch out for people's feelings because, frankly, it's ludicrous. I mean, it's so beyond the pale, moronic, to watch some of these people now, like, talk about, like, I don't know if you remember this a couple months ago, but Gwyneth Paltrow, who I think is a total loon bag, she's a kook, right? She's totally kooky. But she was talking about her diet, and like Tess Holliday was like made videos on her, like saying like she like Gwyneth Paltrow obviously has an eating disorder, and this is so dangerous and damaging. Like, I've watched you eat cake from the center, woman. Like you're talking about other people's eating disorders. Shut the fuck up. Holy shit. I've watched you eat from the center of a fucking cake, and you're like talking about other people's eating disorders. Shut up. Just be quiet.
Oh, it's so wild.
But the fat phobia thing is a totally made up term. Like, first of all, phobia implies, and this does upset the fat acceptance people because they're like, well, we don't mean it like that. Well, I'm going to break the word down to you. Fat phobia. Phobia means an irrational fear. There is not an irrational fear of being fat. You cannot have an irrational fear of it because it is objectively bad for your ass. It is not healthy for you. It could kill you. You should be afraid of something that could kill you. It could lead to a miserable, painful existence filled with shame, misery, and pharmaceuticals. I mean, why?
It's cool. They got people telling them it's all right.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's fine. Like, it's mind blowing to me. I didn't know how bad it was till I found your page. Dead. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is this okay? And the fact that you can't say, well, I mean, you say what you want to say, but once you say it's your fat phobic, like these people are gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, convince me you 400 pounds and be like, well, my blood levels are good. Nah, sis. I'm quite sure it's a lot happening. And that's a lot what happens with the Lizzo situation. Like if I was like, well, she can perform on stage, I'm like, I'm gonna tell you right now, since like she well close to that 300. I don't care what
Yeah.
she doing on stage, something's off.
Yeah.
She big as shit. Like you can't, you just can't.
Yeah,
And the fact
she's lost weight recently.
good for her. But this is the
Yeah.
crazy part. And I know you follow some of her stuff. There was a point where she was like, she would be on there one day gluttoning, and the next day she would be on like a juice cleanse.
Yeah.
Like she was going through it because she knew it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
But I'm quite sure they're like, no, you the fat singing girl now. Like you can't lose weight. You the fat girl now.
Oh, they're going to be at her. They're like right now. The fat acceptance crazies. They're at. Or I think they're mad at Lizzo and Tess because Tess is on an anti-inflammatory diet. Tess Holiday. That's what I said. I made a video saying that's great. You know, like because here's my thing. Like I think people get it twisted. Like I don't hate any of these people. You know, I really don't. Like these people have mental illness. For the most part, like Tess Holliday's mentally ill. To think you can be 400 pounds and have it be okay, she's clearly mentally ill. Like I mean, like I don't even argue with that, right? So a lot of times it is like arguing with crazy people because you're arguing with crazy people. But I don't actually make my content to argue back with the person that I'm arguing with. I oftentimes make my content just to get the message back as a retort to their message because holy shit, they say some crazy dangerous shit. I find it amazing that the like topics that I talk about and the videos I make oftentimes are seen as less desirable to be shared versus the actual stuff I talk about. Like if you try to talk about the dangers of eating too much, you get kind of like they kind of put you down in the selection, right? But if you have a mukbang, they'll put you in prime selection, right? So people wonder why, and then I wanted to get to your, because you had a conspiracy theory for me, I wanted to get to it, but people wonder why we have a, you know, like we have the healthcare system we have and all that stuff. It's all designed to keep you fat and in the cycle. The sooner they can start you on meds, the better in your life. I mean, women on the average start on medications, daily medications, when they're like 16, because they put most women on birth control that they really shouldn't be doing anyway, because you're fucking with a woman's hormones before she's even hormonally developed. It's fucking stupid. But and then they just keep you in the cycle. They want you fat. They want you dependent. It's a national security threat. Because here's my little worry conspiracy theory worry about, right? The people should all be very well aware of this, because while this may sound like a little conspiracy theory, this shit could actually fucking happen. It would be really fucking real, and it would be really fucking easy to be done, and people need to wake up to this shit, right? Right now, we're so fat and sickly in our country that 60% of all adults are on at least one daily medication to function or live. At least one. 40% are on at least two. Okay? So let's just take that 40%. They're on at least two. It is fairly safe to say that if they all of a sudden do not get their medications, we could be in for some fucking shit. Okay? Mm-hmm. That right there is 120 million people.
Oh.
Okay? That's 120 million people, right? So say it goes 2 months and we lose 20% of 120 million people. We could lose 24 to 40 million people in like 2 months if the flow of pharmaceutical medications was all of a sudden stopped to America. Like for whatever reasons, if the pharmaceutical companies just wanted to say, you know, we are actually taking over and you're going to do this, or we're not going to give you your medications and you're going to watch all these people die. Or it be the fact that a lot of the source materials for a lot of the medications that we use, a lot of pharmaceuticals we use, come from China, and China could just shut that shit off. Or it could be like just, you know, a tyrannical government that takes over our government that all of a sudden decides to shut that shit off too to control the people. Because a very sickly population is an extremely controllable population. And in America, we are such pussies right now because we are fat, weak, sickly, in our fucking emotions. Like, goddamn, you people will fucking make a video crying about any goddamn thing in your life. Holy fuck.
I see one more crying influencer. I said, who has time to set up a camera and cry? I have never in my life had that type of time.
You know, I have shed a tear or two on live feed before, where it's been spontaneous. You know what I mean? Because like something we'll talk about something deep. You know, like I talk about. I'm a recovering binge eater myself. You know, I am 3 years and 8 days since my last binge. I keep track, like it's alcoholism, right? But you know, so I'll get choked up and stuff. But I've never recorded myself crying and then fucking posted that shit. That's unreal. That's unreal. That's unreal to me.
Yo, my dude, that's the difference. That's the difference. So I'm gonna give you my conspiracy theory. This is my.
Here we go.
One, I agree with you 100%. The goal is to keep us sick, fat, and weak. Two, I definitely believe with the rate we're going to get like overtaken by another country. Probably China, probably Japan. I'm like super, like, it's just too easy. It's too easy right now. We got between all the anti-government sentiment, the extra wokeness, people not wanting to be a part of, like, the elites just have this shit fucked. So, like you said, you want to control somebody, keep them sick, fat, and weak. They can't fight back.
Right.
And I 100% believe that the pandemic was a test. It was a test, and we failed.
Oh yeah.
We failed. We failed. It was like
it was an IQ test.
Yeah, it was like, what are we going to do? And people are like, well, I'm just going to go in my house because the government said so, and I'm going to put.
It was so weird. It was an IQ. It was an IQ test. I totally believe that. Here's reality. By the World Health Organization's own website, it was a cold. Like the study I told you about, it's on the WHO website right now, and it shows that the infection fatality rate for my area of Florida, 0.07. It was like for people under 70, it's the flu. You know, I mean, it was literally the flu, and they knew it the whole fucking time. And here's the thing: not only did they know it the whole fucking time, they knew 6 feet was just a made up. 6 feet magically made the fuck up.
They picked it.
And it's just magically made that shit the fuck up. Viruses travel on aerosolized vapor that can go like 30 fucking meters. If you're in the same building with somebody and they're sick, you could get sick. If you're in the same Walmart with somebody and they're sick, you could get sick. Hiding from a cold is the dumbest, stupidest, fucking most moronic bullshit. It's a fucking cold. Try to be as healthy as you fucking can, and that way you can build up immunity to the cold, or like you can get over it easier, or you may just be asymptomatic. But Jesus fucking Christ, when you hide your immune system away from the environment, you weaken your immune system. We evolved for fucking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of motherfucking years. Vaccines have been around for like 100 fucking years, and you people think that like you can't function unless you have one for a fucking cold. It was not any of these. It was not the movie Contagion. There was not people falling over in the fucking streets. And even then, I would have looked at the person and been like, they're fat anyway. I'm not worried. I'm still not worried because like it's a fucking cold. The fucking CDC's own website, they had to put on the CDC website that a little over 5% of all cases died of COVID only. The others were with an average of 4 comorbidities. And then when you do the age, the average was also over the age of 80. It was like 80 years old. That's over the age of life expectancy. So the people that are dying from this are the people that do the fucking dying. They're the elderly people and the sickly people. It was the same high risk group. It was all bullshit. All of it. Like, I mean, it was such a moronic thing. When they started pushing for the jab and they started saying how, you know, it's 100% effective. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
How are you going to stop the virus, bro?
100%. I would argue. I would love to have that cover. I would love to see that data, you know, because 100% That is a humongous boast to make. And then it went down, it just kept going down and down and down and down and down, right?
Yeah. The propaganda was crazy behind that.
Yeah.
Remember, everybody was like, if you don't care about the family, you don't care about this country. Like, they were going in. I went 2 years without getting it. I finally got it because I had to go somewhere, and I couldn't leave the country without it. I've never had COVID. Everybody around me was getting sick, and I was like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, I never got it. And then when they started well, now we got to get boosters, I was like, get out of here. We ain't getting no boosters, bro.
So I made a video before they even came out with the boosters, like before that, you know, like, or right when they first started talking about it or something like that. Like, and I said, a message from the control group, because I'm a member of the control group. I never got it. You know, I've never even been tested. Like, you're not gonna jam a fucking huge ass nasal swab up my fucking nose. Fuck that.
My ex-wife, my wife at the time, made me go like every week because I had a gym. Yo, when we first went, they stuck that shit up. I thought it was in my eyeball.
So here's my question. We're testing all these people. The people that get tested positive, guess what they're telling them to do? Stay home.
That was it.
That was it. That's all. Like, once the first round of that shit happened, we should have been like, all right, it's over. Because, I mean, like, it should have never been, like, technically it never met the criteria to become a pandemic. They had to change the criteria. That's how stupid it was. It was an IQ test. It really was. The whole thing, the whole Black Lives Matter thing, I got, one of the TikTok accounts that I had was like, they were like, do you like black people? I'm like, well, depends on the black. Yeah, like, they just straight up asked me, do you like black people? I was like, well, it depends on the black person. You know, like what. You know, because I don't judge people that way. You know what I mean? And they're like, they like, you're not going to pledge to BLM. I'm like, well, definitely not that shit, because they don't even like black people, and they fucking came for me. Because I had already realized, like, early on, I was like, the BLM movement, like, to me, I was like, this hurts black people, because
I didn't get involved.
Yeah,
I had young kids at my gym who were like, we're gonna go protest. And I was like, yeah, that's what you feel you need to do. Go do it. But I wasn't stuck into that. And look, that's how it turned out. We found out they were stealing money and robbing people. So yeah.
The one thing I can say, any movement that has the Democratic National Party behind it, you know they're making money off of it.
It's all
like that's well, think about it. BLM, they raised billions of dollars from BLM, and they use it as a control technique, because anybody, like, I've been labeled. The funny fucked up thing is, I've been labeled a racist for like 5 years. One from the fat phobia, and then other stuff from from.
Oh, you racist too?
Yeah, because you've never heard that.
No.
Like, look it up. How they say that fat phobia was born in racism. You don't know this shit?
No!
Oh my god! No shit. Okay, so hang on. We got a whole other fucking topic to talk about. This is gonna blow your goddamn mind, right?
Oh my god.
If you talk to the elders, you know, the 35-year-olds from the fat acceptance community, because they're the elders, but because most of their other elders are dead already. Like, if you get into the 45s as a fat acceptance person, you're definitely dead. But they'll talk about how fat phobia, the fear of fat people, the fear of being fat, stems from the fear of black women. And I shit you not. And I shit you not. I shit you not. But it comes from, like, we can pull up TikToks right now and check it out, because it's hilarious. But it is about, like, you will have, like, Tess Holliday has said it. She said it at the UN. She said to UN, just like, fat phobia, it all stems back to racism. Like, because, like, they basically are trying to, and it's so funny to me, because, like, you don't realize how racist that sounds to say that people are fat phobic because they don't want to look like black women. Like, you're just assuming all black women are fat. It's like, it's so fucked up. I'm telling you, Diva, you got to look it up tomorrow. Look it up. Look it up.
The damn rabbit hole. I hate you. You understand?
Oh, it's not. It is one of the more fucked up things. It drives me crazy too because I'm like, it is just so racist because like, it just assumes all black women are fat. You know, like, and the last time somebody asked me about that, I was like, everybody's fat now. Are we talking right now? Because if we're talking like nobody was fat back then. In fact,
Exactly.
back when we were growing up, it was like most of the time it was considered a stereotype for black people to have better physiques than white people, like to be leaner. You know what I mean?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that and the girls had bigger butts. Like
Right. Yeah.
now, white girls got butt too. Shout out to the white women here.
But yo, you got to look that up. You will laugh about that. They all go on, and it's 99% all white women that are saying like that fat phobia is born in racism. I'm telling you, there's no more inadvertently and in an unaware fashion racist person than a woke white woman. Like if you show me a nose ring and purple hair, I can guarantee you they're racist as fuck and they don't even realize it. I can guarantee you they're prejudiced as fuck and they don't realize it. It is so hilarious.
A woke white woman is a whole nother thing. Like I am blown away by some of the shit they do. It's mind.
I thought white people crazy was like totally reached like because I have degrees of this because I refer to myself as a cracker all the time like so
No,
like
I didn't do that.
yeah like I call myself a crack all the time. Just don't use the hard R. It's demeaning. But then there's honkies. Honkies are those dumbass motherfuckers that feed bears when they go camping. We can't have honkies around because holy fuck, they make first these are the reason why people like me aren't invited to the barbecues because everybody thinks I'm gonna be like fucking feeding bears and shit like that in their backyard. These dumbass motherfuckers, right? So that's them. And I thought that the honkies was the fucking total. I thought it was the top. I thought that was the upper echelon of white people stupid. No. We got the fucking woke ass white woman with fucking purple hair and fucking nose ring. That is the fucking craziest white person shit. Like it's embarrassing for my entire melanin level. It really is. It's so fucking bad.
You already know. I literally was talking to somebody about that today. I was like, yo, the woke white woman is a whole nother breed.
It's so bad.
It's just weird, bro. Like, I think they think they're doing a service, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not helping no causes. Like, please stop. Please. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Yo, yeah, you right. The woke white woman is a whole other person. Yo, your people up in here heavy. They funny as hell.
Yeah, my comments are good. Give me 1 second. Oh, they're talking about Alan, also known as the angry bald black woman. So just hang on a second. This one, just so you know where this one. Oh, well, I can't put it up. Just so you know where it came from. This one young lady, her name's Samira. She made this video. Another creator like kind of broke apart one of her videos, and said that she pulled out key words implying that she was being racist, right? Like angry, loud, has a lot to say, shouting, right? And she's like, that's all. They stereotypically say that about black women all the time. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm a fucking black woman because I'm angry. I literally sell angry bald man shirts, angry, have a lot to say, everything like that. I just, it's one of those things where it's like, these woke people don't even realize how ridiculous they are,
No, she said woke white women with dyed hair are crazier than hunkies. You ain't never lied, sis. You ain't never lied.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't never lied. Oh my God, yeah. They a whole nother breed, man. They a whole nother breed. So I don't know about you. I ain't signing no petitions, Alan. I'm not signing no petitions for extra airplane seats or wider doorways or whatever else concessions.
Well, where else? Like, how do we think that this is going to go down? Where do people think the money's coming from?
Well, they don't. They're entitled. They don't. The world should accommodate. Like, I want you to build a wider doorway, a stronger elevator. Who's going to pay for it? The consumer pays for it.
When that one young lady, like, I did a video on that. She was like, make the elevators wider. Like, she said that as if there's like this little fairy wand that like, ding, make it wider. Like, as if that's not like some serious ass fucking reconstruction. You might as well tear the whole building down and restart. it says that this shit gets said that's so ridiculous. It's just hard to even take it seriously. But yet here we are, people taking it seriously. Like the whole fucking. So I lived in Southwest Florida through the whole pandemic. My wife moved us here, luckily, right before it happened. But I have never walked into a restaurant with a mask on, walked to my seat, sat down, took my mask off, and then when I needed to go to the bathroom, put my mask back on and go forward. Like, how stupid are you fucking people? And it's the same thing with this stuff. Like, they were for the experimental gene therapy, we'll call it. For the experimental gene therapy, because you're on YouTube, you got to watch.
No, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah. But they were giving away fucking donuts and McDonald's fries and shit like that. Like, it's an IQ test, and a lot of you failed. Like, I mean, you literally failed. Like, it's an IQ test, and a lot of you failed. These people, like, they didn't think that they were going to have boosters. They gave you a vaccine card with 4 slots, you dumb fuck. But you think they just had 2 extra slots for some fucking whatever reason? You know, like, I mean, it's just moronic. Like, I look back and laugh now, but that was almost 4 years ago. The world has changed so much in that 4 years, and not in a good way. Like, not in a good way at all. You know?
Scary, bro. It's scary. So with this podcast, prior to the pandemic, I actually started my podcast during the pandemic. I used to talk about other things, a lot lighter, but like you said, the world changed. I was like, this is not a game. Like, this is real. Like, you know, shit's happening. Like, we just had the whole world shut down because a group of people said that's what we need to do. We had a country destroyed, families destroyed, and then we come out and all the crazy people was extra crazy, and all of a sudden everybody come out the pandemic and they trans and they're gay and they're this and they're that and like weird shit. We don't know what a woman is anymore. Like, this ain't normal, bro.
Right.
None of this is normal.
Yeah.
None of this is normal.
Yeah. It's the burning down the fucking the burning down the fucking cities and shit like that. When we just accepted this shit, and then like, did you keep up the Kyle Rittenhouse thing?
I did a little bit.
Okay, so I'm watching this. When I first watched this, and I haven't really spoken publicly about Kyle Rittenhouse yet, but when I first watched the Kyle Rittenhouse video, I thought it was staged. That's how impressive his handling of this weapon is and the crowd. Like, I thought it was staged. No shit. I was like, this is a false flag. Gotta be. Like, this kid's doing barrel rolls. He clearly has a gun jam and clears it and still fires off a shot. Shoots a guy mid-swing in the arm. Like, he's like this fucking... He's supposedly like this 17-year-old kid, and he's like performing like a Navy SEAL. It's insane, right? So all of a sudden, like, they're saying he's a racist. Every single fucking person that he got came at him, like, on video. They're attacking him. Like, the one kid swung and hit him in the head with a skateboard. The one kid pulled out a gun to shoot him. That's when he shot him in the arm. And another kid went to tackle him. They're calling him a racist, like, because it was a BLM rally. Like, and the news was calling him a racist when not one person was black that was involved, you know? And to me, I was just like, they hooked everybody. Like, I don't know if people see the timing of this. They hooked you onto watching the news and watching what they wanted to say on social medias, because they've now got you watching a death ticker. They had all of us pinned, watching every single day, COVID cases, what's going on. They had us pinned, right? So then all of a sudden, riots start, and then they've got our attention for that. They've got us pinned, and they need to be able to have the conflict, people pro it and against it, so they keep that fuel going. Meanwhile, we're not allowed to have Thanksgiving. You know, they're telling you not to have Thanksgiving, but they're not doing anything about the riots, and the riots,
Yep.
the riots have a distraction, right? These motherfuckers released that they knew about aliens in like May or something like that, like 2020.
Talks about that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, in June, like May or June of 2020, the government came out and said, "Hey, by the way, we've been lying for 50 years. We know about aliens and shit like that, right?" And everybody's like, like everybody was like traumatized out already. Like everybody was just like,
I do remember that.
And then so think about since then how much they've divided us on, right? So there was Ukraine and pro-Ukraine, pro-Russia, or whatever, right? There's pro-Israel, pro-Hamas, right? Pro-Palestine. There's pro-drag queen story hour, blah blah blah, right? There's so there's the drag queen stuff, then there's the transgender stuff. It's are you what is it? A transphobe or something like that, like all that bullshit, right? All the different labels that they could throw on you to socially try to ruin you, because that's what it is. I've heard all the time, Alan Roberts is a transphobic, racist, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, one of my friends is one of the most well-known transsexuals there is. Me and Blair are friends. I had I
fucking love Blair. Blair.
All my business partner. I am literally, like, we joke about it because I'm having a shirt made, but I'm literally the token white guy. I'm the token cracker. Like all my business partners are like either Iranian, black, Jewish. Like I'm the white guy, right? And it's like they say these things because they want you to be able to throw. They want to be able to throw these things and get them to stick to you. They want these things to hurt you because there's nothing, like, from our generation, like, there was nothing worse than being called a racist. Like, you must have said, you must have fucking did something, motherfucker. Like, I'm not associating with you ever, because, like, I don't want that shit on me, right? Like, that's how I grew up, right? And, like, they've diluted this word that used to mean something so important.
It's a
to the point where it's a buzzword. Yeah, like, oh, you called me racist. It used to be like, oh, that would catch my attention. No shit. Like,
Yeah. It's a dude.
We couldn't talk in the park. That's true. That's all true right there. Love it.
Oh, it's wild. But a lot of people don't believe that. Now I ain't going to keep you much longer because I can talk all fucking. But a lot of people don't see, like, by keeping people distracted, they gave us so much shit to worry about. You know what I mean? Like, between the racism, I don't like white people, I don't like black people. Cool, all right, great, they argue. Now we're going to destroy the businesses, right? Yep. This was defund the police, which was the dumbest shit ever.
Defund the police was like, that was another thing too. I'm like, we're not a serious country. Cause I got into, like, not an argument, but like a discussion with somebody about that. Like, we really don't need guns. Like, if me and you were sitting across the table, and the gentleman is not a physically put together guy, I've known him forever, but like, if we're sitting across the table from each other and I just stand up and go to fucking whip it on your ass, do you wish you had a gun? Or are you going to call the cops and have the cops show up? But you're going to defund them. So now you don't have a gun and you don't want the cops. So you're telling me that I can do whatever the fuck I want to you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, the 2A thing, I'm pro 2A 100%.
Yeah. I have another big theory. Since we're getting ready to wrap up, I've got a few for you.
Give them to me, bro. Give them to me.
The country is vastly more based than what we possibly think.
Okay.
I really believe this, right? I think that most of the wokeness, it is a very small select group of people that just gets very good advertising. I think for the most part, the people you hear silent, the people that aren't using social media, the people that are just, going to work every day and coming home and taking care of their kids and their dog and their cat and their wife and their husband and everything like that. The people that are just trying to go through the day, right? Most of them, they just want to be left the fuck alone. And people don't realize this, but in order to be left the fuck alone, you need to be able to make people leaveth youeth the fucketh alone.
Let's go.
So you need to be able to have that ability to do so. Most people that even say that they want to get rid of all guns don't mean all guns. They mean all guns that could possibly be used in any negative way besides to protect them. You know? And it's just this weird thing that I think that they don't want people to see this. They don't want people to think that they should protect themselves, be strong. We have been in a generational, like for the last 3 or 4 generations, they have literally been trying to weaken society. They have made it seem like being a I refer to myself, I have shirts for this. It says traditionally masculine. Because I am a faithful, loving husband and father. I don't go out partying. I stay home. We stack money. This is what we do, right? I try to help people. I am not interested in fame. I am not interested in parties, anything. I'm interested in spending time with my wife. I'm a traditional masculine male. I believe that my wife can take care of herself, but if anybody steps up to my wife in any type of aggressive fashion, I am an old-fashioned motherfucker. I will go to goddamn jail, and I will smile in my motherfucking mugshot. And that's how I think that we should start raising our young men to be. Faithful, wanting to raise their children, like wanting to be a part of their lives, because that has been like almost pushed out of our society by mainstream media, Hollywood, social media. It has been made to seem like it is cool to not take care of your fucking children. If you are a man and you have a biological child that you do not speak to, that would want to speak to you, or that you could help out, or in any way you could do something for, and you do not, you are not a fucking man.
No,
like,
you're not.
if you are not allowed to, if whatever case, I get it. But if you could and you're avoiding it, any dude that avoids taking care of his kids is not a fucking man. And we need to get back to having a society that believed in these types of things. Because then we have a society that believes in personal responsibility. And a society that believes in personal responsibility won't be fat as fuck.
They won't.
Yeah.
They won't. Yeah. Yo, you're my guy. All right, I'm gonna let you do the thing, my dude.
All right. Thank you so much.
Man, yo, thank you, and to everybody who came on because you like my guy. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all coming checking me out. All right, Alan, I'm gonna take you out and I'm gonna close this out. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. We'll talk soon.
You got it. All right, fam. Yo, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight to Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast. We discuss all things mindset, motivation, entrepreneurship, free thinking. And I'm heavy on free thinking in 2024. All right? And how to live your best life possible. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Diva Richards on Instagram, and follow me here on YouTube. I'm in the process of really growing my YouTube channel, and you're a big part of that. Yo, thank you so much for tuning in. This was awesome. I appreciate you guys. Everybody, have a good night. God bless.